Hello everyone. So today we are gonna revise all the maths topic for GCSE exam. So let's start with fraction. So as you know, fraction represent a part of a whole. Let's suppose I write 3 over 4. So that means 3 parts out of 4, right? 3 is the numerator. So numerator is the top number and the denominator is the bottom number, which represent the total parts. And this one represent the parts taken. So this is denominator, this is numerator. Then there are different types of fraction, like this example. Here denominator is greater than numerator, right? 4 is greater than 3. So this is called proper fraction. If I write 7 over 3, here numerator is greater than denominator, right? So this is an example of improper fraction. Or then there is mixed numbers or mixed fraction, which is a combination of whole number and a fraction, like 2 whole 3 fourth. So this is a whole number, this is a fractional part. So this is mixed fraction or mixed number. Then equivalent fraction, like if I take a circle, suppose this is a circle and I'm shading half of it. So the fraction for the shaded part is 1/2, right? One part is shaded out of 2. Or if I take the same circle, suppose this is a similar circle, or same, exactly same actually, and again I shade the half of it. So this time the fraction for shaded part is 2/4, right? But if you look at the picture, suppose these two are exact same circle, the region shaded in both of them is equal, right? So 1/2 is equal to 2/4. So these are called equivalent fraction, 1/2 and 2/4, which are representing same region, uh, or same, but the numerator and denominator seems different. But if you simplify it, simplifying means, for example, if you have 2/4, if you divide both of them with 2, because they both comes in 2 times table, you will get 1 over 2. So again you are getting 1/2 from 2/4, right? So 1/2 and 2/4, they are equivalent fraction, and if you simplify one of them, you will get the same answer. Then addition, if we add two fraction with same denominator, for example 2 over 3 plus 4 over 3, you, because the denominator is same 3, so you can just write it as it is. Here you just have to add the numerator, like 4 plus 2, 6 over 3. Again you can simplify it because they both comes in same times table, right? If you simplify it, if you like divide it with 3 times table, so in the numerator would be 2 and this would be 1, right? So this is the simplified, or this is the fraction in simplest form. Some of them can be simplified, sometimes you can't simplify it anymore. For example, if you have 4 over 3, we can't simplify it. This is the simplest form, right? Because 4 and 3, they don't come in same times table, right? So but suppose the denominator is not same and we have to add the fraction, like 2 over 3 plus 5 over 6. So first step is to make the denominator common, same. We have to find a common denominator. So we have 3 and then we have 6 there. So 3 and 6. Now we have to think of a number. How can we make them same? So if I multiply this 3 with 2, I'll get 6, right? So if I'm multiplying the denominator with any number, I have to multiply the same number. I have to multiply like both of them, numerator and denominator, with the same number to make a balance, right? So this will become 2 times 2, 4 over 6, right? And this is 5 over 6. Now we have got the same denominator. So now we know whenever there is a common denominator, we just keep it as it is. We add the numerator. So 4 plus 5, this will become 9 over 6, right? Now again you see they both come in same times table. So this is not the simplest form. We can simplify it. If you divide both of them with 3, you will get 3 over 2, right? So this is the simplest form, 3 over 2. So this is how we add the fractions with different denominators. First step is to find the common denominator. The same way we can subtract at place of addition. You just need to subtract here. So addition and subtraction, it's a similar method. Then how do we multiply fractions? We just multiply the numerator with numerator and denominators. For example, 3 over 5 times 4 over 7. So we multiply the numerators. 4 times 3, that would give you 12. 5 times 7, that would give you 35. Okay. So this is how we do. Again, we can simplify it, right? If you just see 12 and 35, uh, can we simplify it? So no, we can't simplify this, right? So because they don't come in same times table, right? Yeah. So I thought this is okay, this is 21. So yeah, then if you then let's see how do we divide fractions. Division is 3 over 4. Let's take an example. So first step is to uh, first fraction is written as it is. We flip the second fraction. So this, if you flip it, this will become 5 over 2, right? And this multiplication sign, we convert it into, this division sign is converted into multiplication. Then we multiply numerator with numerator, the same process. 5 times 3, 15. 4 times 2, 8. Okay. So this is the final answer. So we just flip second fraction, we convert this division into multiplication. That's how we divide fractions. Then simplification, how do we simplify fractions? For example, if you have 12 over 16, you just see that they both come in same times table. You can divide both of them with 4, right? If you divide it with 4, this will become 3 and this is 4, right? So 3 over 4 is the final answer. So this is how we simplify it. Okay. Um, okay. So next is how do we convert fraction into decimal or percentage? Let's take an example, 3/4. So if we have this fraction, first if you divide it, like you just keep 4 outside, because the denominator with the denominator we divide, and 3 would be there. So you would get, because here 3 is smaller than 4, so we will put a decimal, and here I'll get a 0 with a decimal. Now in 4 times table, 4 times 7, 28, right? Then I subtract them, then this I'll get 2, right? Then this decimal, with the same decimal I'll have one more 0 there. Then 4 times 5 is 20. Then I subtract, I get 0 remainder. So 0.75 is my quotient. So if I divide this 3 over 4, this is giving me 0.75, right? So this is how I can convert it into decimal, simply by dividing. Now to convert it into percentage, we know percentage means out of 100. So this will become 75 over 100, right? Because after decimal there are two digits. So I can put two zeros in the denominator. Then this 75 over 100, this is 75 out of 100. So I can say 75%, because percent is nothing but 1 over 100, right? Out of 100%. This is the meaning of percent. But what if for example, if I have a number 5 over 100, I can simply write the numerator as it is, then check how many zeros are in there in the denominator. There are two zeros, right? So I have to put the decimal after two places, 1, 2. So there is no number, so I'll put a placeholder decimal would go there. So just to make it more visible or distinguish, I put a one more 0. So the answer is 0.05. Suppose I have 23 over 1000. So I'll first write the numerator as it is. How many zeros are there? 3. So I have to place my decimal after 3 digit. We always go in this direction, okay? So 1 2 3, there is no digit, so I'll put a placeholder 0, and then I'll put a decimal and one more 0 to make this decimal visible. So the answer is 0.03, 023. Now if you have to convert it um, into percentage, how would you do that? 0.023. So because for percentage we need 100 in the denominator, right? So if I just convert it back it into I want 100 in the denominator, okay? So I can move it this way, 1 2. Why 2 place? Because there are two zeros in the denominator, right? Now I got 2.3. So the percentage would be 2.3%, right? So the number of zeros in the denominator that matters, because here I am converting a decimal into fraction. That's why I am moving in the opposite direction. So when we convert a fraction into decimal, so we go, uh, what's wrong? When we convert fraction into decimal, so we always move towards left. But when we convert a decimal into fraction, we always move towards right. What? Decimal point. Okay, we move the decimal point towards right. So remember this, like you can understand this with the help of this example. I'm going really fast because this is just a revision class. So this is what we have to, this is what we do in fraction, I think. Okay, so basically now uh, you know how to do the fraction, the main operations, right? Now let's talk in detail about percentage. So this percent means out of 100. Okay, so percent is a fraction or decimal out of 100. For example, if a student gets 80 in science, a student gets 80 out of 100, he gets 80%, right? Or if there is a uh, off, like you may have heard, like 25% off, this means 25 out of 100. Like if your battery, device battery or laptop battery is 100% charged, that means 100 out of 100. This is what 100% means, right? So how do we convert fraction into percentage? We just multiply it with 100, or okay, let me just take an example. For example, 3 divided by 5. So you just divide it. So if we divide it, again I'll have to put a decimal point because 3 is smaller than 5, which would, with the help of this decimal, I'll get a 0 there. Then 5 times 6 is 30, right? So I got 0.6 as my answer. So 0.6 I got after dividing it. If I just multiply this 0.6 with 100, okay, I can convert this 0.6 into percentage. So for when we are converting a fraction, I mean a decimal, into percentage, this is how we do. So because I'm multiplying a decimal with 100, I have to move this decimal towards right. Okay, how many zeros are there? 2. So 0.6, 1, 2. The decimal would go there. Now there is no 0, I mean there is no decimal, so no digit, so I'll have to put a 0 there. Okay, So this will become 60 points. So this point, it does not matter, so you just can erase it. So we got 60%. Okay, that's how we convert a decimal into percentage. Then we can convert decimal to percentage by multiplying it with 100. For example, 0.45, let me take one more example. 0.45, if you want to convert it into percentage, just multiply it with 100. Okay, so again you see there, you are multiplying it with 100, there are two zeros, so you need to move the decimal towards right by 2 place, 1 2. So you will get 45%. Okay, that's how we convert it. So for fraction, when we are converting fraction into percentage, we multiply it with 100. Okay, or when we are converting a decimal into percentage, again we do the same thing, we multiply it with 100. But when we are converting percentage into decimal, we divide it with 100. Okay, like let's take an example. Percentage to decimal, for example, if I have 25%, so I can write it as 25 over 100, right? Because percentage means 1 over 100. If I remove a sign of percent, I get 100 in the denominator. Now, to convert it into decimal, I would just write the numerator. There are two zeros, so 1, 2. After two digits, I'll have a decimal. So this is 0.25 or 0.25. So here I divide it with 100 to convert percentage into decimal, right? Now, to finding a percent of a number. For example, if the question says find 35% of 200. Let me write it properly. 35% of 200. Okay. Let's suppose uh, let's suppose there is a off on a stuff. Let's suppose there is a t-shirt or something which is of 200, and there is a tag which says 35% off. So you need to find how much 35% off of 200 is. So first of all, you would remove this percentage sign. Whenever we remove a percentage sign, we get 100 in the denominator. Off means multiplication, and then you just write 200 there. So 35 over 100, if you convert it into decimal, either you can convert it into decimal then multiply, or here you see these two zeros cancel out with these two, because this is a numerator, this is denominator, so you can just cancel out, and then you just multiply 35 with 2, so we get 70. So 35% of 200 means 70. So there is a off of 70. So that means if there is a t-shirt which is of 200, so if you subtract 70 from 200, you will get 130. That means you, after the discount of 35%, or you will get it in 130. Then yeah, so this is how we do. Then percentage increase. So percentage increase, let's take an example. Suppose there is a if you increase $80, $80 by 25%. So 80 and 25% means 25 over 100, right? So basically here you will get 80 times 0.25, right? Because 25 over 100 you convert it into decimal. So if you multiply it, this will give you 80 times 0.25. This will become 20, right? So 20, and what was the original? This is 80. So if you just add 80 and 20, you get 100. So the new price would be $100. By this is increase. This is how we find percentage increase. Percentage decrease, the same thing you would do, but you would subtract. For percentage increase, we add. At place of this, you would just subtract. Okay. So this is how we do it. And then now let's this was all about fraction. Now let's see a bit about ratio. Okay, let's revise ratio. So what is ratio? So ratio is used, we use it for comparing two or more values. Like it tells us how much of one quantity exists in comparison to another. For example, if I say a class has 12 boys and 8 girls. So the ratio of boys to girls would be 12 over 8, or you can write it as 12 to 8. 12 to 8. So there are different ways to write. We can write it in fractional form like this or like this. There are three ways. Okay. So here we are comparing, and with this we have an idea that boys to girls ratio is 12 to 8. That means boys are more than girls, right? So, or like in every 12 boys there are 8 girls. This is what it means. So first is, if you have, sometimes they would ask you to simplify ratio like 12 to 4. So you just divide with its factor. So 12 and 4, if you divide it with highest common factor, so which is 4, so you can just write it in fractional form. Both of numerator and denominator, both of them you have to divide with 4, which would give you 3 over 1, right? Yeah. So this is the ratio. New ratio is 3 to 1. Then sharing in a given ratio. Let's take an example of that. So for example, if $60 is shared in 3 to 2 ratio. So, and you have to find how much each of them would get. Like if there are two people and you divide the $60 in this ratio, so what is the first share and second share? So total parts, there are total parts are 3 plus 2, right, which is 5, and each part, so each part, if you find each part, that would be 60 over 5, right? 60 is the total and the parts are 5, which would give you 12. 60 divided by 5, right? So how would you find first share? First share is, because the ratio, first ratio is 3. 3 times 12, which is 36, and second share would be, the second ratio is 2, right? 2 times, and each part is 12. 12, so which is 24. So first share and second share, so this is $36, $24. Clear? Then how do we compare ratio? So this was an example of sharing in a given ratio. Then they can ask you for comparing ratio, like compare 4 to 5 and 8 to 10. So we just multiply 4 by 5 by 2. If I just multiply it with 2, I'll get the same ratio, right? 8 over 10. So we can say 8 over 10, these two are equal. I mean 4 over 5, 4 to 5 and 8 to 10, they both ratios are equal or same. Okay, so we scale up or down by multiplying or dividing both parts equally. So then yeah, this was all of, yeah, we need to talk about combining ratios. So how do we combine? Let's take an example. Let's suppose a shop has a 3 to 5 ratio of red to blue pens. So this is the ratio of red to, and 2 to 7 ratio of blue to green pens. So we always write ratio in order. For example, here red to blue. So first what is written? Red. So what is the ratio? I mean the number for red, because red is written first. So we have to check what is there first. If 3, so 3 is for red, like it goes correspondingly. 5 is for blue. Similarly, blue is written first, so 2 is for blue, not 7. 7 is written second, so which is representing green pens ratio. Now, so first step is to we have to find the common terms. What is common here? So common is blue, right? It is in both statement. Then we have to make blue equal in both ratios. So first ratio is this, and then we have given this. So to match them, we need to, if we need to check how can we multiply the first ratio, like this is blue and this is blue, 5 and 2, right? So how can we make both of them equal? If I have to make a common, I have to make blue equal in both ratios. So one is 5, other one is 2, right? So if I multiply first ratio, this 3 over 5 with 2, and the second ratio with 5, which is 2 over 7, if I multiply it with 5, uh, so I'll get the same, because I have to make same what? This 5 and this 2, right? Now you can see in the denominator, here 5 times 2 you are getting 10. Here in the numerator 5 times 2 10. They are both are equal, right? But remember, always we can't multiply one of them like numerator or denominator. We have to multiply both of them at the same time. So 3 times 2 is 6, 5 times 2 is 10 over 35. So we have got 10, 10. Now we have same, right? So now, okay, let's suppose question is saying find the combined ratio of red to blue to green. You have to find this in question, suppose. So we, what we would do, we red we have. Now don't, because we cannot write this red, we cannot write 3. Why? Because we have got a new ratio. At place of 3 over 5, I mean 3 to 5, we have got 6 to 10, 6 ratio 10. For 2 and 7, we have got a new ratio which is 10 to 35. So this is red, this is blue, this is blue, this is green, right? So red, at place of red I will write 6. Then blue is 10 and 10. See, we have same blue. So that's why we can write only one term. Because in this it was confusing. What should I write for blue? 5 or 2? Now we have combined it. We have got a common term. Then green. Green is 35. Right? So this is our answer. This is the combined ratio for red, blue and green. Okay. Uh, so that's how we solve, how we find combining ratio, how we combine the ratio. Okay. So this was all about ratio. Now let's move to a new topic, which is indices, okay, or power or exponents. So power or exponent tell us how many times a number is multiplied by itself. For example, if I say 2 raised to power 3, we read it as 2 raised to power 3. So this means 2 is multiplied by itself 3 times. So this is base. Base is the number that is getting multiplied by itself. And this is exponent. Exponent tell us like how many times the number is being divided, or I mean multiplied by itself. So 2 is multiplied 3 times by itself. Okay, so this is base and this is exponent or power. So uh, like if I say a raised to power 4, this means a is multiplied by itself 4 times. Okay, so there are some laws of exponents. First is multiplication law, which is if the base are same and you are multiplying it and they have different power, let's suppose m and n, so we just keep base as it is, we add the power m plus n. This is m plus n. Let's take an example. 3 raised to power 4 times 3 raised to power 2. Base is same, right? 3. So we write it once, add the power 4 plus 2, that is 6. So we got 3, which is multiplied by itself 6 times. So this is our answer. Okay. Um, Next rule is this is for multiplication. So this is called multiplication law. Second is for division. So division is like again if we have same base a and a, they have different power and they are in division. So we just write base once and we subtract the power. Okay. For example, 5 raised to power 7 over 5 raised to power 3. So we write 5 once, we subtract the exponents 7 and 3, 7 minus 3. So we will get 5 raised to power 4. So this is the division law that you will help you in solving problems. Then there is a law which is power of a power. Suppose there is a base and exponent is m and then there is one more power which is n outside the bracket. So you just need to multiply these two power. Okay, these two powers are multiplied. For example, 2 raised to power 3 and then there is a power of whole which is 4. So 2, we'll write this as it is base and multiply the exponents. So 2 raised to power 4 times 3 is 12. So this is the answer. Let's suppose x raised to power 2 and power of whole is 5. So x raised to power, just multiply these two, 5 times 2 is 10. Okay, this is called power of a power rule. Next is 0 and negative power. So 0 law says anything raised to power 0 is 1. Like 7 raised to power 0 is 1. 100 raised to power 0 is 1. Okay. So a raised to power 0 is 1 where a is the base and 0 is the exponent. Then other rule is negative power rule. For example, if you have any number and the power is 0, let's suppose base is a and the power is n, which is negative n. So you can convert it into positive power, but you will just do the reciprocal like 1 over a raised to power n. For example, if you take 4 raised to power negative 2, this will become 1 over 4 raised to power positive 2. Suppose you have 3 raised to power negative 2 over 4 raised to power negative 5. So you can just do the reciprocal like this will go there, this will go there. 4 raised to power positive 5, 3 raised to power positive 2. So to convert them into positive powers, you need to do the reciprocal. Then this rule, which is called fractional index. So fractional index means a raised to power 1 over n is equals to root of that number. Let's suppose if you have 9 raised to power 1 half. So we can just write it as square root of 9, because there we have 2. So that's why it's square root, which will be 3, right? Because 3 times 3 is 9. If I have 16 raised to power 1 fourth, so I can write 16. I can put it under root and then 4 there, because this power is 4, which is which would give you, if you multiply 2 4 times, so you'll get 16. So out this will be 2. So these are some rules for power rules that will help you to solve the problems. Okay, so you need to remember this. Now let's revise algebra. Okay, so first um, we need to know about terms. Just give me a minute. Yeah, so we always, if whenever we have any algebraic expression, let me write it and explain it with the help of example. Let's suppose 3x and 5x. So we know 3 is the constant number and x is a variable, because it's a letter. It does not have a fixed constant value. So whenever the variable is same and the power exponent of them is same, they are called like terms. So we can only add like terms, we can only subtract like terms. So for addition and subtraction, we have to check if the terms are like. For example, if you have 3x square and 5x, because this is x square, this is x, so they are unlike. Or if you have 5y and 6x, they are also unlike. Okay, if you have 9x and 9xy, this is again unlike, because we don't have to check the constant, we have to check the variable. Okay, for example, if you have to simplify this, 3x plus 5x minus 2y plus 4y. So 3x and 5x, they both have this x as variable, so they are common terms, and they both have y, so they are like terms, not common, I should say like. So this is a pair of like terms. So we first need to group like terms whenever we are solving any algebraic expression. So we can just put a bracket or something, or let's just add it directly. 5 plus 3 is 8x, and then 4 minus 2y is 2y. Because bigger number is 4, it has a positive sign, so that's why I'm putting a positive sign. So this is your answer. Can we add 8x and 2y? No. Why? Because they are unlike terms. One have x, other have y. So we cannot add unlike terms, or we can't subtract them as well. So this, for addition and subtraction of algebraic expression, we need to check, we need to group like terms together. Then let's see how do we expand bracket in algebra. Let's suppose 2x plus 3. So we use distribution or distributive property for that. We multiply each term by 2. Whatever is written outside the bracket, if it is in multiplication, if there is no sign between them, that means they are in multiplication. So we multiply each term with this 2. So by 2 we are going to multiply each term. This will become 2 times x is 2x. Then we have plus sign. So we'll put plus. Then 2 times 3 is 6. So this is our answer. We cannot add them because one have x and other one is just a constant. So they are unlike. So the answer would be just this much. If let's suppose we got 2x plus 6s, then we would add them and the final answer will be 8x. because they are like, so we can add. That's how we expand the bracket. Then how do we solve linear equation? For example, 5x minus 3 is equals to 12. Solve for x. Okay, so we have to solve it for x. So first of all, we need to see, we need to find the value of x, right? So this side I have to see what are the terms, additional terms which are there with x. So first I see there is this negative 3. So I need to use the opposite operation. Like what is the opposite of negative 3? Positive 3, right? So I'll just do both side. I would add 3. Both side. Whatever operation I'll be doing, both side. I mean this equal sign left hand side and right hand side. Now this positive 3, negative 3 will cancel out. 3 minus 3, 0. I only have 5x. This 12 plus 3 would give me 15, right? Again, I need to find only x. What is the extra term with x? That's 5. I need to get rid of this 5. So, this time this is in multiplication with x, right? So, opposite of multiplication is division, right? So, I need to divide both side with 5. So, let's divide both side with 5. This cancel out. Now, I only have x, and 15 divided by 3 is, 15 divided by 5 is 3. So now there is no term with x, so that's the value of x. So that's how we solve a linear equation. Now let's take an example of quadratic equation. X square minus 5x plus 6 is equals to 0. So quadratic means the exponent maximum power is 2, right? Like here. So we need to find the factors of this. How do we do? If you see what is the coefficient of x square, is there any number constant? No, 1. So and then constant this 6. So 1 times 6 is 6, right? We need to check the coefficient of x square and the constant. With there is no variable, 6 is constant, right? If I multiply these two, I am getting 6. Now I have to think of two numbers. If I multiply them, I should be getting 6, or if I add them or subtract them, I should be getting this number, which is negative 5. Okay. So if I take 3 and 2, so 3 and 2, like negative 3 and negative 2, if I multiply them, I'll get 6, and if I add them, I'll get negative 5, right? So that's how I have to think of numbers. Now, first term we will write as it is. This negative 5x, at place of negative 5x I will write negative 3x, negative 2x, and then the last term plus 6 is there. In these first two terms, x is common, right? So I'll take x common. I took 1x, so there would be 1x remaining inside. I took x common, so there is only 3 remaining. Out of these two terms, I have 2 common. So x, and because I took 2 common, so there would be only 3 remaining. Because I took minus sign common, so I'll get minus there. Because when I take a sign common, minus sign common, the sign get inverse, like minus minus, again you are getting positive sign there. So these two brackets are same, so you just need to write it once. The other bracket would be this and this, x minus 2. So the values are x minus 3 means if you put it in equal sign, this will become positive, and this will x is equals to 2, right? So this is what you would get. This is how we solve a quadratic equations. We always check coefficient of x square and a constant. We multiply them because there is no coefficient, so I just multiply 1 and 6. Split it into two such factors that they should add or subtract to the middle one, the coefficient of x. Okay, then we take the common and then we get the answer. So that's how we do this. We can take one more example. Let's suppose x square plus 7x plus 12. So we have to find two numbers that add to 7, middle number, and multiply to 12, because 1 times 12 is 12. Okay, so they should multiply, like if I take 3 and 4, 3 times 4 is 12 and 3 plus 4 is 7, right? So first term write as it is, x square. At place of 7x I can write 3x plus 4x, then write 12 as it is. Take common, so I can take only x common is there between these two terms. So 1x remaining, here I took x common, so only 3 remaining. 4 I can take common because 4 is a factor of 12. X plus 4 times 3 is 12, right? So 3 is remaining inside. These two would be same always, so just write them once. The other bracket is this and this, so x plus 4. So these are the factors. X is negative 3 and 4. So this is how we factorize, okay, a quadratic equations. Then the same way we also solve inequalities. Inequalities in algebraic expression or equation, we have equal sign, like x plus 3x equal to 12. So this is but it, at place of this equal sign, if I have less than or greater than sign, then this is called inequalities. For example, 2x minus 4 is greater than 8. If I have to solve it, I need to find x, solve it for x. So again negative 4. So opposite of negative is positive. So I'll note it as it is. Add both side 4. This will cancel out. 2x is greater than 8 plus 4 is 12. Then what is extra there with x? 2, which is in multiplication. So operation I will use opposite. Multiplication means I'll divide here with 12. 2. So cancel out. This will give me x is greater than 6. So that's how we do. It's the same way like we did linear equations, right? Only if you are multiplying with a negative sign or something, then this sign, this inequality sign get flipped. If suppose there is 2 and there is x, so if you are multiplying with negative sign, so or dividing with negative sign, let's suppose negative 2 negative x, this sign will flip. Okay, then algebraic fraction. How do we solve algebraic fraction? Let's take an example. um, Suppose 4x plus 8 over 2. You have to factorize it or simplify it. Okay, so we can see in the numerator 2 is common, right? So I'll write 2 there, and so inside if I take common 2, I'll be left with this inside the bracket, and I have the denominator 2. So this cancels out, so the answer would be 2x plus 4, right? So this is how I solve it. Whenever there is a um, term like 2x is equals to 5 over 3, how do we solve it? Always whenever there is equal sign and it is in fractional form, always do cross multiplication. So x times 3, this is x, okay? So x times 3 would give you 3x, 5 times 2 would give you 10. Now you can just find x. How? Because only 3 is extra there, which is in multiplication. So opposite of multiplication 3 is division. So you just divide both side with 3. This cancels out. X would be 10 over 3. Okay. This is only you just did multiplication. You need to just do cross multiplication in these kind of question. Uh, then let's talk about Pythagoras theorem. So if you have a triangle a right triangle. We only use Pythagoras theorem for this, is only for right triangle, or a Pythagorean theorem. uh, Suppose this is the right triangle, here you have right angle. So in with respect to this angle, this is the perpendicular, this is called perpendicular. This longest side is hypotenuse, this slanting side is always hypotenuse. This is called base. Okay, so according to Pythagorean theorem, the square of hypotenuse, I'm just writing h for hypotenuse, h square is perpendicular square p square plus base square. Okay, so you can just remember it like this: if this is a, this is b, and this is c, so a square is equal to b square plus c square. Okay, using this theorem you can find, if two sides are given, you can find the other one. Okay, um yeah, so this is how we do Pythagorean theorem. Let's see an example. Suppose, let me erase these things. Suppose this is given 5, this is 4, and you have to find base. What would you do? Hypotenuse square means 5 square is equals to perpendicular square plus base. You would just write b for base because that's not given, right? 5 square is 25, 4 square is 16, and then you have base square. So to find base square, this will go that side, you just rearrange the terms. So 25, this positive 16 will become negative because you moved it to the other side of equal sign. So this will become 9, which is b square. So if you take this square to the other side, this will become square root, and b is 3, right? So this will be 3 units. That's how we can find any one side of right triangle if two of them are given using Pythagorean theorem. Okay, so then we need to do parallel lines and all. So if there are two lines which are parallel, like this line and this, and then there is a third line which is just cutting these two lines, this is called transversal. Okay, so angles, this angle, like this angle and this angle, they are called alternate angle. They make a z like structure like this. These are alternate angle, and they are always equal. Suppose this is 60 degree, so this would be 60. So they are alternate interior because they are interior of these two parallel line. Similarly, this is this, for this angle, this is alternate, right? And they are equal. Then the other one is, so alternate interior angles, they make z like structure. You can take alternate exterior angle also. This is the alternate exterior. For this is the alternate exterior. Okay, they are also equal. Then corresponding angles, for example these two are corresponding angles, so they are also equal. Okay, if this is 100 degrees, this would be 100. But this is only for parallel lines, and if there is a line which is cutting both of them, for this is the corresponding angle. Okay, which are at the corresponding position. Then co-interior angle, like this angle and this angle, which are interior side of these parallel line and the same side of transversal, they add up to 180. Like if this is 100, this will be 80. Okay, the other pair is this this and this, they are also co-interior, so they add up to 180. If this is A, this is B, so A plus B is 180 degrees always. So and then uh, this is what we do in parallel lines. So let's suppose if one of the angle is given, only this angle is given, this is 80 degrees, okay. So this angle would be 80 degrees. Why? Because alternate angle. And these two, this angle and this angle, add up to 180. So if this is 80, this would be 100. 100 plus 80, 180, right? If this is 100, this would be 100. They are alternate angles, right? Okay. Then if two lines are crossing each other, they are called and the opposite angles, they are also equal. Like this is equal to this would be equal to this angle. So if this is 100, this would be 100 because they are opposite angles, right? Opposite angles are also equal. If this is 80, this would be 80 degrees. Again here opposite angles are equal. So if this is 100, this angle would be 100. If this is 80 degrees, this would be 80 degrees. Okay. So also supplementary and complementary angle. First talk about linear, let's talk about linear pair. If there is a line, straight line, and so we know this whole angle is 180 degrees, right? Because in a straight line there are two right angles, 90 plus 90, which gives 180. So if this is angle x, this is angle y, so x plus y, they would give you 180, right? Suppose x is 100 degrees, suppose y is 100 degrees, so x would be 80. If this is 100 degrees given, this would be 80 because this is linear pair. Okay. Then uh, so they this is called linear pair, which add up to 180. If suppose there are three angles, this, so angle A, angle B and angle C, so their sum would be 180, right? So if two of them is given, you can find the other one, right? So that's how we do linear pair. Then some angles are supplementary. Suppose if two angles are there, okay, if this is 80 degrees and this is 100, so I can say, let's suppose this is angle A, this is angle B, so angle A plus angle B, their sum is 180. So angles that add up to 180 are called supplementary. Angles that add up to 90 are called complementary. So if there are two angles, let's suppose one is 45, other one is 45, so if you add them you get 90, so they are called complementary angle. Okay. So uh, yeah, this is how we do. This is all about parallel lines and angle rules. So then we have a formula which is for sum of interior angle formula. So sum of interior angle of any polygon, you can use this formula to find the angle n minus times n minus 2 times 180 degrees, where n is the number of side. Suppose you have to find the sum of interior angle of a hexagon. So hexagon have 6 side, right? So at place of n you can put 6 minus 2 times 180, which is 4 times 180, and that would give you 720 degrees. So sum of all the angles of hexagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that all angles, their sum is 720 degrees. Okay. Then let's talk about congruence. So congruent shape means identical. Like if there are two circles, I should use shapes. Okay, suppose these two circle, both of them, their radius is 3 centimeter. This is also 3 centimeter. So I can say that these two circle are congruent to each other. So to there are some congruence rule for triangle. To prove that these two triangles are congruent or not, we can use these rules. If we have two sides, let's take two triangle first. One is this, other one is this. Suppose they are equal, though they don't look like. So first rule to prove that they are congruent, this is the symbol of congruency. We can use side, side, side. Corresponding sides are equal. Suppose this is 3, this is 3, this is 4, this is 4, this is 5, this is 5. So we can say that this triangle, triangle ABC, is congruent to triangle PQR if their corresponding sides are equal, if two sides and one angle is equal. Okay, side, angle, side. So this is the second rule. If two sides, let's suppose this is 2, this is 2, this is 4, this is 4, and this angle is 60 degree, this angle is 60 degree. Angle should be included between these two sides. Like you can see, this angle is between these two sides, right? So side, angle, side, we can say that this triangle ABC is congruent to triangle PQR if this is A, B and C. This is C, sorry. This is P, Q and R. Then the third rule that we can use is angle, side, angle. Let me erase. So third one is angle, side, angle. Here if two angles, suppose this is 60, this is this corresponding is 60, this is 60, this is 60, this is 6 centimeter, this is 6. So two angles and the side included between them, two corresponding angles, so we can say that this triangle and this triangle are congruent. Then fourth rule is RHS, right angle hypotenuse. This is only for right angle triangle. Okay, is if I take two right angle triangle like this, these two are right angle triangle. So this is right angle, this is right angle. Okay, so right angle hypotenuse, RHS, this is hypotenuse, this is hypotenuse, any one side. If you take, because one angle is 90, so we know that. Okay, hypotenuse, one right angle, and any one side, it can be perpendicular or base. If any one of the side is equal, so we can say that these two right angles are congruent. So RHS. Okay, so yeah, then these are the um, I mean these are the congruency rules that we can use to I mean to prove if two figures are congruent, two triangles are congruent. Now let's talk about probability. So probability means chances of an event happening, or likelihood of an event happening. It ranges from 0 to 1. 0 to 1. So 0 means, if, let me just put it, this is 0, this is 1. So 0 probability, 0 means impossible. Suppose if today is Monday, and if I say what is the probability of Wednesday for tomorrow, that would be impossible. If today is Monday, then tomorrow would be Tuesday, right? So 0 probability means impossible. 1 means 100%. If I say today is Monday, what is the probability of having Tuesday tomorrow? That is 100%, right? Certain. Then 1/2 or 0.5 means equal chances. Okay, like if I take a coin, I flip it, so what is the chances of getting a head or tail? They are equal, right? Either I will, because there are two possibilities, either I'll get head or I'll get tail. So there are half chances for both of them, so and equal chances 0.5. So this is how it ranges. If it is very likely, then it would be close to 1. If it is very, there are very less chances, it would be close to 0. Okay, so to find the probability we use a formula. Probability is favorable outcomes, favorable outcomes, and we divide it with total outcomes. For example, if I flip a coin, so either I'll get head or tail. So what are the total outcomes? There are two total outcomes, head or tail. So if I want to find the probability of getting a head, so favorable outcome is head, because I want to find the probability of head. So th- this is probability. So favorable outcome is 1, because one of them is head and total outcomes are 2. Similarly, if I want to find the probability of getting a tail, so favorable outcome is 1, because one of them is tail and the total outcome is 2. So there are half chances of getting a head and tail if I flip a coin or toss a coin. Let's take one more example. Let's suppose a bag contains 3 red balls and 7 blue balls. They are in a bag. And what is the probability of picking a red ball? So total outcome is 7 plus 3, which is 10. Red ball are 3. So favorable are 3. So this is the probability of getting a red balls or picking a red ball. Okay. So whenever you add the probability of, let's suppose here for the same thing, you in the same question you find the probability of getting a blue ball, that would be 7 over 10, right? If you add these two, 3 over 10 plus 7 over 10, how much would you get? 10 over 10, which is 1. So always the probability, if you add them, you will get 1. And suppose if there is a question which says, if the probability of rain is 0.4, what is the probability that it will not rain? Okay, so you can just subtract it from 1, because the sum of probability is always 1. So you will get 0.6. So this is the probability that it will not rain. Okay, so that's how we do it. Then let's talk a bit about range, stats. So to find mean or average, we use a formula which is sum of all values divided by total values. Sum of all values divided with total values. Like if you have 2, 4, 6, 7, so you just add them, 2 plus 4 plus 6 plus 7, and how many values are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. So divide it with 4. That's how we get uh, the mean. The median is the middle value. Like the median of this is, let's suppose this is the data 3, 4, 7. So middle value is 4. So this is the median. But in this example, there are two middle values. So just take the mean of them, which is 4 plus 6 divided with 2. This would be the median. Mode means most frequent. Let's suppose this is the data. So here 7 is coming 2 times. So 7 is the mode. Then range is the highest value minus lowest. So to find range, like in this one, 7 is the highest value, so 7 minus least is 3. So 7 minus 3, highest value minus lowest value, that would give you the range. Okay, this is how we do. So this was all about the revision. Okay, thank you.